and welcome. It's been a little while since I've gone live. Wanted to talk about the energy that we're in, that we're experiencing, that I'm experiencing. I'm going to divulge some of my tension and challenges and what I'm getting out of it, what I'm learning out of it, and understanding, as well as how I'm seeing my old patterns as well. So I'm going to give it just a few seconds to see if anybody is going to come on to the chat, but I'm not going to wait too long because I have a lot to share. And I did save my own personal reading that I just did before I came on here to kind of explain what the big squeeze that I'm going through. Personally, my challenge, as well as the messages that I have repeatedly received and continue to receive. So, and you know, it's interesting because I did have a friend ask me, I don't know what I did with these papers, asked me to talk about the houses in astrology and maybe a little bit more on the Venus star point, which was just yesterday that Venus had met up with the sun in a Cazimi, meaning it conjuncted, met with the heart of the sun. And it's so interesting that I cannot find these papers all of a sudden. I guess I'm not meant to really do this right now. There's so much going on in the energy. But what we are being faced with, Venus, for me, money, things that we value, things that we find, things that we appreciate, value, the beauty. And I do feel a shift. There's a little bit of a give and take that started to happen for me personally. But just to share, to put it in perspective of the message that I received today from myself, and I'm going to do a collective reading. But I've been holding back some really intense feelings that I've been experiencing due to financial setbacks and financial setbacks beyond my control. I've done all I think I can do aside from actually completely stopping what I do and going out there and getting I already have a job, going out there and getting another job, and that's not where I'm guided to do, but to actually sit back and see how I react and how I respond to these types of situations that affect my stability, my safety, my security. Am I certified? I don't know exactly what you mean by that. Don't have a whole lot of tolerance or patience for comments that have nothing to do with what I'm actually on this platform to speak about. So I apologize if I do remove you, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Please tell me, what are you asking me if I'm certified in? And guidance for you, I'm going to be doing a collective reading after I share my story, my experience here. So if it resonates for you, then certainly take that resonance. Hi. So I don't have any moderators on here. I'm going to have to keep a good eye on the chat, but I wanted to share because we are all collectively in this together. I'm a certified angel reader, so I was just asking if you were certified. Oh, yes, thank you. Never really heard of certified angel readers, but yeah, I connect to the angels, to the angelic fields, as well as many other realms. I have my own team, my own guides that I constantly are communicating with, and I'm going to share their message to me, which they also advice that I share with others, because I know I'm not the only one going through this. So back to what led up to this reading. And we do have a new moon tomorrow in Gemini. We're dealing with the duality of Gemini, as you know, we've got a lot of planets in Gemini. She is connected with demons and calls them angels. Okay, well, we're going to have to dismiss you. I know that, sorry guys, there's a lot of tension in the air. I am a psychic medium. I also am an extreme extrasensory empath, and I feel and read collective energy. I have since the moment I was born onto this planet. Back to what I'm talking about, because each and every one of us is we're at a release point right now when it comes to energy. We're coming up to an upswing, an ascension when it comes to the Venus star point. However, we've got Saturn in the mix with this new moon, so we still are facing, and Black Moon Lilith, I want to bring her up to our fears, our deepest, darkest fears are arising in order for us to see our reactions and our responses to whatever is bringing up tension, fear, and so it's important to be very self-aware as how we react and respond. What do we do? What are our behavior patterns that arise when we are put to the test? A big, big test. Hi, Lisa. Oh, thank you. I'm in the middle of actually doing my own self-regulation emotionally, energetically, after really surrendering to a big squeeze that's been going on for a while for me financially. Even YouTube has demonetized me again, and not that that was actually paying my mortgage or anything, but it certainly helped. Doing what I do and trying to stay free from the matrix is very difficult sometimes to juggle or trust when that income, which is energy, is coming in. And it is definitely, you know, my second house is my sun sign. It definitely, I have a lot of resources, and I'm very grateful for all of the resources and assistance. And I also know, stand your ground, that once I release and understand what I'm meant to release, we're at a release point right now, what I'm meant to see, accept within me, my fear, my behavior patterns, how I react, how I respond, what do I do, where my mind takes me. Because I'll tell you, today was like the tipping point for me. And I think it had to do with paying my credit card bill and going to the grocery store. Food prices, again, rising, all of the prices rising, but like the incoming energy of finance is falling away. And so that gets to be scary. My first inner critic, my manager, my internal manager goes, all right, we got to get a second job. We got to go out and get, you know, hustle, make that money. The loss is emotional. The financial loss that I'm experiencing. I'm giving you my personal private reading right now, and I want to share this for all of you. My personal financial loss is emotional, and I feel it, and I accept that. And then I received stand your ground. So stand in my inner knowing, know, because I know I've been doing this for 5-6 years now. And I've been in worse scenarios than I am now. And once I finally release the fear, release the need to somehow control it, control the outcome, it releases the flow of energy for what I need, whether it be resources, whether it be finances, which are resources, whether it be emotional support, anything that it is that I need finally then comes to me. So I received Choose Wisely because my mind, programmed from the past, really started looking into getting a second job. And that's not even talking about the readings that I do and all of the other stuff, just to stay afloat. Stand Your Ground came very strongly of like, you know how to work this energy. I'm actually here to teach and to share my experiences with others of how we can exchange and work with our energy. And that brings me back to an emotional level of like, how can I teach or help anybody else when I'm constantly challenged with this? Is resonating for you? Yes. I love your readings. I'm glad you're doing this for all of us. Thank you, Lisa. And I'm going to keep an eye on the chat because there has been a little bit of shaky activity that I'm not so sure about. I already had to take somebody out, so bear with me. I want to get through this message because it's big. And whether it's finances, whatever it is for you, there's fear involved, there's emotion involved, and we have internal parts within us that will override not allow the true emotion, or not allow us to see our mental patterns and behavior patterns and how they get activated when we are put to the test. So it's really important to stand back when you're having an experience like this and ask. And I did ask, what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? What is this catalyzing in me? So Stand Your Ground and Choose Wisely were very strongly came through saying, don't do that. Don't do what your fear-based program mind is telling you you need to do. And when I asked, what is this about? I received psychic development, which I totally get because I've been getting a lot stronger and newer to me psychic senses that I'm still working with. And I still have this, I don't want to say it's not doubt, but I've been struggling with a bit of imposter syndrome because I'm still working with a fearful inner child within me that doesn't quite trust the outside world that or the universe. There's a part in me that's like, I don't think you have my best interest right now. There's a lot of daggers coming towards me, and it's just a protector. It's an inner protector that I dialogue with often. And then we have material harvest. So choose wisely as far as how your material harvest, what you've put your time, your energy, your focus into, and then having setbacks, having things not work out, having things taken from you. Where does that take the mind? Where does that take us? Do we like just have a knee-jerk reaction and go into an old programmed pattern because we live in a fear-based program matrix? Okay. Overall energy was trapped in fear, which I was certainly feeling earlier today. After I left the grocery store, that was like the icing on the cake. I mean, we're talking like the prices for food alone are insane, absolutely insane. And so these things also are indicator to me of like, it can't get much worse. Well, it keeps getting worse. And again, I know I'm not the only one struggling in these areas. Not only is it food, it is the electric companies and all of the utilities. Everything that you actually would need for your basic needs is skyrocketed. It's absolutely, and I'm not here to like vent, although it sounds like I'm venting. It is the truth. It is the truth for us all, and we really need to take that into consideration. But at the same time, when things get a little ridiculously out there like this, or even like the pandemic situations that we went through, there's a higher lesson there. I know it. I have a deep inner knowing of that without even tapping into my spidey senses. Everybody is struggling. Exactly. Thank you. So overall, I have the angels are with you. And here's the other thing that I want to point out is when we reach the energy of fear, panic, what am I going to do? we're not connecting. We're not connecting to the angels. We're not connecting to our guides. We're not connecting to our higher self. We are spiraling in that lower dimensional energy. So it is nice to get a reminder every now and then. The angels are with you. Please don't panic. Another reason overall, and I'm going to do a collective reading, but again, I just wanted to share this one because when I sat and asked, and I don't always do readings for myself, but when I'm able to, and I'm really curious or want confirmation on the messages I'm already receiving, because I'm sort of I'm kind of not sort of kind of I actually am emotionally catalyzed into fear. And you can sit with that as long as you want. You can let the mind take over and take you places, or you can ask questions. What is this showing me? What is this telling me? And the first message I received before I pulled cards was, see where your thoughts are going. See where you're, what you want to do. You want to go out there and what? Drive for Uber? What do you want to do? You really want to do that? Or do you want to keep going on your path? Do you want to stand your ground in your inner knowing? Let's see here. Oh, thank you. I am sending you and your channel healing love. Thank you so much. That's our humanness. We panic. Yep. Hello from Sweden. Hi, Jenny. I'm Pisces Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus. So the wheel is turning. The karmic wheel is turning. And we know this because when we're about to shift out of a lesson, of an experience, we get squeezed. We go through the darkness. We have to release. And what I needed to release was the thought of, I got to go in another direction. I got to just drop all this. It's not working. Forget it. And go into my old ways. No. And then I saw that pattern. I had flashes of that pattern in me from my past, my whole life. And try and try and try. It doesn't work. Give up and go somewhere else. And that the lesson wasn't that it wasn't going to work. It was, what's my pattern? Are you going to quit? Are you going to give up? Wheel is turning. We have a new moon tomorrow, a big one, important. It's going to be powerful. I know a lot of astrologers are talking about this beautiful Venus love. Yes, that is very possible, but we have also a lot of obstacles and challenges to face and overcome as well with Saturn, with Black Moon, Lilith. Pluto is certainly showing us our patterns and habits now in retrograde. So in retrospect, I can see the old self, the old me coming back alive when I'm squeezed, squeezed dry. So the next message is hold that light, hold your faith, hold hope, push back the dark thoughts, because we all have them. And last but not least, well, actually not last but not least, but the last card on the spread, Page of Inspiration. Use your intuition. Shine those true colors. Once the panic starts to settle, once we can get behind the old patterns, the mental processes, and the emotion, allow the emotion to come up. Don't bypass it. Don't bypass it, because the challenges will get harder and harder and harder. And when I say bypass, I just mean even myself, like things were getting pretty difficult for weeks now. And I'm like, it's fine. Oh, it's okay. It'll be all right. It's all going to work out. I wasn't really allowing the fear to come up and to show itself to me until today. Today was like, all right, let's see now. Now what are you going to do? Now I'm like, oh my God. I gotta, there's the panic. And then I heard bravo, you let it out. You let it out and you own it. You acknowledge it, you own it. We are human. We grew up. We live in a fear-based control matrix. And we still have active programs going on inside of us. Overall, I got the Three of Materials saying that there are people and I know I do have people in my life that I'm working with, that we're collaborating with. We're all struggling, but we all have the same vision and mission, and we all have our own unique resources to share together, to work together. And I do have a meeting in a few hours with them. So this was a reminder. Don't lose hope. Don't give up. Okay. Whew. I am sweating. It's also really hot and muggy here where I live right now. And I'm penny pinching, so I'm not even turning on my air conditioning. And when I talk about like financial squeeze, not only am I complaining about food, but I have been rationing food for weeks now. And don't feel sorry for me. I'm not saying this to feel sorry for me. I was just in the Outer Banks a few weeks ago. No, I didn't pay a dime to go. I didn't even drive there. I've been pulled into family dynamics and experiences to lift my spirits, really, and have a lot of time with children, which the children are my teachers right now in a bit. I mean, they always are, but have been a big messengers. They're messengers for me right now. And I do have in the works some things that I want to do for the children and with the children going forward. So thank you. I'm so glad that you guys are on here. When I first started, I was getting a lot of just strange comments that I had to like really watch. So hi, everybody. It's been a while since I've gone live. So let's get a collective reading really quick, not really quick, for us all as well, because whatever area of life that you are struggling, if you do know your birth chart, this is what my friend, I was looking for the paper and I can't even find it. I printed stuff out. I was going to talk about the houses and the birth charts and all this stuff. And some gremlins came through my house and like hid them from me because I cannot find them now. Hi. But if you do know your birth chart, if you don't know your birth chart, but you have your time of birth, you can go online and get a free birth chart. There's many different websites that do that. But if you know your birth chart, check out the house that has Gemini in it. Not only are we in the new moon in Gemini, but we've got the Gemini sun, and we've got the Venus went Cazimi with the sun yesterday, Gemini. And see, also check out where Leo is, because the last Venus star point was in Leo. Long story short, my 10th house has been hit. My house of the work that I put out there, how I present, the things that I do, my career, all of that stuff has been hit really hard. And I know to resolve, or the balance of that house is the opposing house. The opposing sign for me is the 4th house, family. So it all makes sense to me how life has actually brought me into working more with my family to help clear away some of the clutter that I have going on in my house, my 10th house. Leo moon, yep. So to resolve or to balance out any challenges you're experiencing in a certain house with sign placement would be the opposing house sign. And it's easier, and the thing is, I know these things, but when we're put to the test, when we are physically in the life experience and challenged, all that goes out the window a lot of times. I will stay pretty calm and collect and understand these things until I get pushed almost over the edge, like I was today. Just financially, it was just like, oh, you didn't expect that one either? Oh, look, guess, you didn't expect this bill either? And it's almost like I'm being pushed, like the Fool card, pushed over the edge, and I'm standing there holding on to the edge like, no. And suddenly I let myself fall over the edge. Emotions poured up. I owned it all. I saw my patterns. I saw my reactions. I saw the mental chatter that went on, and how I was actually going to like quickly fix this thing. I'm going to make this right for myself one way or the other. And then the angels universe is like, okay, stop right there. Stop right there. Do a reading. Let's confirm what you just witnessed within yourself. And that's the reading I just shared with you all. So let's get a message for us all. I have a feeling it's going to be along the same lines. And it doesn't have to be financial. Some people are having extreme issues in their marriages and their relationships with their partners, with their bosses, with their families. Some people are having extreme challenges and issues with their health. I know quite a few people that are really, kind of scary, challenged with their sixth house health. Some are having extreme challenges with themselves, but it is temporary unless we take that experience and make it real. Meaning like I'm doomed. The self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? What story goes on in the mind when something goes wrong or something is extremely challenging? We're being asked to witness that. That's all from what I'm getting. Now, let's ask again. Because in my experience, when I witness myself, when I own it, when I accept it, and I also know that it's something that I want to change. It's not something that I have to change and then it resolves itself. It's almost as if when I have realizations and I own up to the stuff that's coming up within me, and this has happened to me a couple times this week, suddenly I'm gifted with something that I need. And it's almost like, okay, we have infatuation, obsession. Blessings, we'll just call them blessings because they are, truly. This is a game, an energetic game. It's not, I'm not saying life is a game, but it kind of is an energetic game. And if we can kind of get into that mindset without shutting off our emotions or bypassing anything, we'll start to get the hang of it more. And when I say get the hang of it, it's almost like that's okay. Many of us have been on this spiritual path and, evolving and leaving the matrix and leaving the old life for a long time, many years. Yet we've got hidden stuff, and that hidden stuff is getting hit. It's getting hit hard. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. Whew. Some of you could be having vivid dreams. Some of you are always a vivid dreamer. But this is a good indicator that there's other dimensions and other dimensions of yourself that are also communicating, operating in other dimensions. I know for myself, a lot of times I will get big messages from myself through my dreams. Sometimes it takes me a little while to fully understand what they mean, but I usually kind of get there. So we're going to start with the first card is infatuation or obsession. And what I'm picking up right off the bat is whatever's being pulled from us, whatever's being taken from us, temporarily or not, whatever we're being moved out of is because there was an underlying obsessive compulsive type of behavior attached to it. Whether it be your YouTube channel, whether it be your relationship, whether it be your bank account, right? It's almost like if it's not at this level, you can't get it off your mind. It's almost like an addiction, whether it be a person. And I can attest to that. There were times, I go a long, long time without even looking at my bank account. And that's actually not a healthy thing to do either, because if you have automatic payments come out, it's like, you got to kind of know if you have enough in there or not. But I purposely did that because I'm like, I don't want to see. That was a bypass. I had to today. And I'm like, but okay. So whatever rug's being pulled out from under us. Oh, interesting. Wherever we're being shifted, whatever's being taken from us, whatever we're being challenged with is because there's an underlying obsession there. We have time lapse. I'm going to dive into that, and the fog. Interesting here. We did get some confirming cards for that. So the seeker is with the obsession, infatuation. So the seeker is our higher self, our soul is seeking for these hidden parts within us, shadow aspects of us that we must experience, we must own up to and see, so that we can reconcile them, so that we can work towards releasing them. Otherwise, they will lie beneath the surface and arise when we are not conscious of it, and really wreak havoc within our mental capacity, within our emotional body. Time lapse. There are times where we lose track of time. This has been happening for me for most of my life, but time lapse, losing track of time either speeding up, slowing down, but it's because we're actually tapping into other dimensions here. And that can bring up a lot of anxiety too, especially those of us who like to run a tight ship, or have a regimented, or just not even let people down, maybe you have engagements or appointments, and suddenly you're like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be here right now, and I didn't even know the time. That is because we are kind of going and tapping into other dimensions, whether you're aware of it or not. And then we have the fog. Now, the fog is kind of connected to this time lapse and tapping into other dimensions. It's almost as if, I don't know how many of you guys have ever had moments where suddenly your eyes get really blurry, like for no reason, out of nowhere. It's like you can't really focus on anything that's in front of you or what's going on, and you just kind of feel like you're in this hazy, weird fog. That is because there are guides and interdimensional beings that are connected to us, that are guiding us, and they are trying to show us something. So your guides are showing you, listen, pay attention, open your eyes. But this isn't the eyes that we see the third dimension with. This is the third eye. This is opening your eyes. So when your eyesight starts to get blurry, when you start to feel like you're in a fog, know that you're tapping into other dimensions, and give yourself time and space to do that, so that you can receive your own personal messages from your guides, from the higher realms. Okay. As well as the guides will also show us, our ancestors, our guides, whatever you want to call it. Everybody has different words for it. The angels. And yes, there are many different interdimensional. I'm not going to go into that now here, but symbology. Symbology on this planet is messages from our guides, whether it comes through animals, whether it comes through anything that gets your attention and is symbolic for you. There's a resonance. You're like, this is trying to tell me something. I don't know exactly what it's telling me, but I feel it's telling me something. Yes, it is. Whether it be through, and our guides know us. They incarnate, they've been with us since we've been on this planet. They know what we're going to pay attention to and what we're not. They know what's going to get our attention. So whether they're speaking to you through music, through songs, through nature, through animals, through the television, sometimes that happens, through other people, there's multiple ways of receiving messages, but you have to be in that understanding of, I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm kind of feel like I'm in other dimensions while I'm here, but I'm actually, and other people could be around you and talking and stuff, but like something's calling to you, something's speaking to you, and you're starting to feel a resonance there. My goodness. Like I said, I have no tolerance or patience for people today, and I'm not apologizing for it either. So, okay. I just completely lost what I was saying. Well, when you are connecting to interdimensional, to your guides, angels, interdimensional beings, the universe, star systems. Excuse me. I'm getting a message to slow down, so bear with me here. Messages are coming in strong, and it's been a day, so I apologize. When we feel foggy, when our eyes are blurry, when we are feeling like we're in a time lapse, it's because there are other communications coming into us. And not only are they coming to us, but they are also showing up in form they may actually show up in form where you can see them. Some people are seers. I am not, usually. I have seen, but typically don't. I hear, I feel, I sense. Yeah. But we get pulled into messages that are specifically for us. And this is a time where this is happening very strongly for many of us, many people. And I can't even tell you how many people have reached out to me recently, just very, almost in a panic and confused, and don't know exactly what's happening to them, kind of thing. And this is what's happening. Not only are we all taking in new energy, an upgrade in energy, the solar activity is certainly helping with that as well, elevating our consciousness, but it's also shaking us loose from an old program. And that's very uncomfortable. And depending on the person and their journey, it can take a long time. Many of us, it's taken many years, but we're now getting accelerated motion in that. So it's happening faster and faster and faster. I know for myself, things that arise in me lately have really shocked me. Insecurity, deep insecurity. And I don't typically see myself or experience myself as, I don't know what's going on, as insecure or that imposter syndrome. Except when the universe, when my guides are up-leveling me into a new playing field, and I'm being shown and asked if I would like to take on a new passion project, which this is what's happened to me recently, and it has to do with children, and it's very close to my soul's purpose, and it's very tied into some deep emotions and deep emotional pain that I've carried with me in this lifetime. And so that up leveling, it has me feeling like I don't know if I'm the one. I don't know if I'm like, it's that kind of, it's like you graduated high school or you graduated like intermediate school and you're going to high school and you're like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I don't feel like I'm good enough for this. Let's see. I'm from Pakistan and new subscriber. My question is, Hussein and Duray, current situation. I'm not sure if I understand the question. Quit smoking. I don't smoke. Again, no tolerance. No tolerance. It's things you thought we already dealt with. Yes. Yes. Right. And for the most part, we most likely did deal with them to some extent in the past. However, not as deep. Not as deep as we're being asked to go this time. And when we don't go that deep, when we're still kind of bypassing or skirting the surface, like, oh, I already took care of that, it's all good, there will be circumstances brought to our life experience that are going to actually have us go deeper. You know what I mean? So, my throat chakra is doing some really interesting things right now. Oh, thank you, Patsy. You're precious too. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, the waiting game. How lovely. Don't we all love waiting? The waiting game. It seems as though they want us to take one more look. Absolutely. And maybe more than one. But the big message I kept receiving was just own it, accept it as being a part of yourself, and the energy will start to disintegrate on its own organically. I know, I see that. Thank you. Thank you, Patsy. So many of them right now. It's crazy. And going back to, and just as an example, going back to this YouTube channel, and I'm not trying to put a pity party out there or anything for me. I see it for what it is. But it's part of this big squeeze of mine. Everything, and I mean everything that I have put my heart, my soul, blood, sweat, and tears, all of these things into, have started to just go away. So I sent YouTube that video that you sent me. What I'm talking about is Patsy had been getting unsubscribed from my channel, and she wasn't unsubscribing. And I think this is happening with more and more people because I started losing subscribers. And I went from my videos having like 2,000 to 3,000 views to like 23 views. Just like it just suddenly happened, and I just got completely demonetized. And it just like, I saw it as the algorithm, the times, the change, blah blah blah, whatever happened. But I saw it as a bigger lesson for me. So we're going to dive deeper into the waiting game, because I keep hearing the wait is almost over. What I know about this journey is like, we do have to be patient with the process, because time is not linear. It's not, and look at that card, how we go back around. We have to have another experience in the same arena until we start to really unravel, unpack, and understand what it is that we are meant to release, move from, or own up to, like accept. We have to accept our shadow aspects. I mean, you don't have to, but if you don't, you're just going to be spinning around waiting for something to change. And instead of waiting for something to change, we become the change, be the change. And that starts to release the energy. The energy begins to change. Perseverance, that's right. It's a great discussion. It shows you're real. Lots of people suffering. Yeah, I know. I witness it all the time, and it breaks my heart. And then I wouldn't say that I'm suffering, but it certainly is bringing up deep fear and this, what do I do? What do I do? And I really left with, do I follow my intuition? Do I have patience? Do I slow down, allow life to show me what it is to do? Or do I go into my old program, which used to make things happen all the time the old way? Of course, they didn't always like turn out exactly the way I thought they would, because it's the old way, meaning force things, make things fit, make things happen the way you want it to. That's not the lesson here. Many of us have been waiting for some big shift or some big blessing or something to just, and I'll be honest, I'm right there with you. Astrologically, we think, depending on who you listen to, we think that we are at the mercy of the astrological energies or of the planet or of what is happening. And so some of us are just waiting for something to shift and change because we've had things just kind of taken from us so they can come back, right? That's not exactly how this works. It is all about our own personal soul's growth and evolution, and we become that change. So I know the universe has been waiting for me to go deeper into that fear, that panic, and to see these parts in me in action, which it did last year at this time too, when Venus was in retrograde. If some of you have been with me that long, you remember I was about to shut down my website. I couldn't pay for that. Like I had all these donations, and then I had another person come into my life, and Dustin, who he's still, I don't think he's here on here, but was going through a dire straits. And it did show that we can all come together and assist each other out. But and that was a beautiful, I was like blown away by that. But that's not the same thing this time. This time is showing me like, yeah, you remember last year. I remember last year. And even that was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction that I had, because when I asked for help, I got more than I needed. And then I was like, oh, was that the right thing to do, kind of thing. Anyway, we'll keep going in here. Let's see here. What do you guys say? Trust thyself. Yes. Got first notification today. Good. Maybe we are on the Venus upswing now. Definitely an error. I know. Right away, we fix, run, to change, or control. Exactly. As an Aries, I learned to be patient. Wow. And that's difficult for an Aries too. I know. I've got a bunch of Aries in my life. But actually, now that you mention it, one of the big Aries in my life, I am watching be more patient and accepting. That's the other thing, is acceptance. Accepting of what is right now, but not going with the story of that's how it's going to be, or the worst case scenario where it's going to take you. You know what I mean? Oh, we've got a bunch of Aries in here. Hello. Yeah. And I'm not saying that Aries are impatient, but you guys have that fire, and it's like when you get the hit, it's like, go, right? I got this idea, go. And if it doesn't work out, oh, well, let's go with the next thing. Not everybody is wired that way, for sure. Hi, Kim. I am just pulling a collective reading right now. We're kind of going through the message for us all and sort of unpacking what's going on at this time. As an Aries, patience can be a problem. Yeah. Yes, I too have struggled with patience, but this journey has taught me that. And I'm very grateful for that, because in the impatient, or not being able to wait for a sign, wait for a message, wait for the energy to settle down, right? Wait for our minds to calm down, get behind the negative feedback loop and fear-based programming that all rises up when we're triggered, when we're tested, when we're challenged. If we don't wait and we react and respond under that energy, we all know what happens. Like, there's a part of mine that thinks like, I've got this, I'm gonna take care of this, I'm gonna make it happen. It just never, it builds more frustration, anger, disappointment, and we go where angels fear to tread. Yeah. I think we are living where angels fear to tread. I'm still working on acceptance and being in the now moment. And that takes time to do too. And that's good that you're being really honest with yourself about that. These are things like our ego's like, no, I'm not it. But like to really accept, yeah, there's a part, and it's not all of us, but we have very strong parts, internal parts, archetypes, personalities that are impatient, that want things now, want things our way, have to fix something right now because it's too uncomfortable to be in this whatever it is, whatever is challenging and stressful, That's been a hard lesson. It's a hard lesson for everybody. It really is. Very hard lesson. Very, very hard lesson. But a valuable one. Very valuable. Because once we get it, and we have to, I don't want to say we have to, I have to learn my lessons the hard way. And I think most of us do, but when you do, you don't repeat it. It's wisdom then. It's wisdom. It's wisdom we can pass on because we experienced it, we lived it. And that's really all I ever speak about is all the things that I've lived and experienced and understood on my journey. Because I'll certainly never sit here and act or say like I know it all or I know anything really. I mean, there are things I know from my journey. There are things I know that I get downloaded and channeled to repeat. I guess that's not a knowing, but it's a message. I don't know. See, even that I don't know. Okay. Mental conflict. And here's where a lot of the confusion comes too. We get stuck in the mind. This fell directly under time lapse and tapping into other dimensions. And I think that this sometimes can cause us some conflict because it feels unsafe. Unless you have the time to kind of be in that Neptunian, fantastical, beautiful, I love to tap into that. Hi, Dustin. I love to tap into that energy. But when you're like, when you're on boots on the ground, going through a test and a challenge, it's really, it can get really confusing. It can actually, our mind will try to take over. Our logical mind will try to take over when it's suddenly we lost track of time, and because we're being pulled into other dimensions, we're being, the energy's like taking us somewhere. It's like going on a walk with a child and you're walking along and all of a sudden you're like, where did they go? And they're like, ooh, pretty flower, and that's actually what we're kind of being assisted into, being more in our childlike nature, our true essence. And this is a tough one for many people, to be in the energy of our true divine essence while still here on earth in the third dimensional world, trying to work out, trying to make it work, trying to survive, trying to get by. It really causes a lot of conflict in the mind. That's why meditation can be very helpful for many people. It helps you get behind the thoughts. The thoughts still go. The thoughts will still go even in meditation, unless you're really well versed in like transcendental meditational practices and other things like that. And there are tools, there are practices, there are even like videos and binaural beats that can take us out of the mind. And that's lovely. That's wonderful. Feels amazing. Give yourself that break. It's just like, but it's just like doing drugs or doing something else. Not saying that anything's bad or good, but like we can get taken out of the body, taken out of the mind, but eventually, ultimately, we live in this body and we have this computer, this mind computer that is operating all the time. So it's more important that we get to know what neural pathways in the brain are firing and wiring over and over and over, or what does our brain go back to even after we've walked the spiritual path. We've gone through a lot. We've trained our brains, we've trained our mind, we've practiced all of the different practices. At this point in the game, for me, that's helpful. It can help me get out of a tight spot, but it's more important that I recognize what does my brain go back to when I'm deeply, deeply challenged, when the fear arises, when something in my life is like, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's almost impossible to tap into other dimensions when you're in that energy. It pretty much, you're not connecting. You're in that constant loop. So it's important to take time, first of all, to understand our brain's patterns, the wiring, the programming, own it, accept it, and watch it start to change. It's very interesting how the experiences that life is bringing to us right now, and they don't feel so good, but they are teaching us something valuable about ourselves and about our reactions and responses. And once we start to really see deeper into that, we can even see how those patterns, those knee-jerk reactive responses, have gotten us into circumstances, relationships, jobs, situations in the past that maybe we really, weren't that happy with or belonged in. They were certainly a lesson. Okay, this is interesting. So here we go, 3 of Cups again. Wow. Okay, this is a very interesting twist on this reading. You see where my mind was going, like, oh, we're challenged, we're in the holding pattern, we're in a waiting game, because it's time to seek out and understand our deep truths, our shadow, our responses, how we get confused in the mind, how the mind wants to take over, because that's our protector. It's part of the ego. It's the protector. And then the fog. So like I was talking about, sometimes the fog just rolls in. Suddenly we feel groggy, we feel foggy, our eyes are blurry. We're not really, probably don't even want to get out of bed, but a lot of us will drag ourselves out of bed to just keep on going because we have to. Our mind's like, you got to go to work, you got to do this, you got to do that. Yet the fog is still keeping us. It's almost like it's a help, it's assistance. It's again, tapping into other dimensions so that our guides, the universe, the angels, can give us messages. When I tap in and do these messages, I'm not, cooking and mowing my lawn and all that other stuff. Although when I mow my lawn, I actually do get a lot of downloads because I'm my brain isn't anywhere else. But it does, it's a different energy. It's a different connection. And that's where the guidance, the help direct me, give me guidance. I do not want to make a choice or a decision when my mind is in conflict, when I'm confused. And that's an important thing. We have rejoice and celebration, partnerships and alliances, and love begins below that. And I just keep hearing Venus on the upswing. Dustin, I printed out all kinds of things. I was going to talk about the houses and the Venus star point, and the little gremlins in my house somehow took them somewhere. I don't even know where they went, but anyway, just wanted to tell you that. It's not time, apparently. I'm going through my own lesson. And I did start talking about that. I recognized when I was in the Outer Banks that, I am in the student mode big time because I felt the fog. I was definitely tapping into other dimensions. There were like loss of time, and the children in my family, my nieces, my nephews, my grandson, they're all speaking to me in this divine language and giving me messages like between the lines, showing me things that I needed to see, and things about my future. It was really amazing. But we've got a team, and this Venus ascension, now we are moving, she's moving into being an evening star. The energy is shifting. I feel like, from my own personal experience, it's most likely going to be after this new moon, but she is now starting to move. And so that's all about love. That is all about relationship and connection and beauty. So I feel as though a lot of us have been waiting. We've had people come in and out of our lives. There's been little glimpses of like, yeah, you've got tribe, but now they got to move here. Yeah, we've got like, we're going to work with you, but they get pulled into their own lessons, their own experiences, and we feel left again like, when is this, what, like, I know there's divine connections here. I just don't know exactly when, where, how, why, any of that stuff. What I'm getting here, we'll get a couple more cards for this because they kind of just changed the energy on me all of a sudden. I like it though. Hi, Granny Paula. No problems. This reading is powerful and needed now. Oh, thank you. I will post it so you can watch it on the replay, because I did in the beginning of this video share what I'm experiencing and going through and my personal reading. And it did resonate with a bunch of people that are on here. So I feel like, I'm not the only one. I know that for sure. But really pulled into a state of panic today, a state of emergency. I'm hearing. I'm not there anymore, but oh, I was in that mind. Oh boy, did I see my old parts of me who wanted to just take charge and make the change and make whatever needed to happen, which, who knows if that would have actually worked out very well or not anyway. So tell us about the waiting game, please. Oh man, I tell you. There you go. All right. This is reiterating exactly what I was saying, actually. Six of Emotions. You know how I was saying the children around me have been teaching me, showing me, spiritually showing me where my energy needs to be, where I need to be mentally, emotionally, physically, and my perspective. So bringing it back to the inner child, and allowing the children of the world, allowing our inner child, our innocence, to inspire us. Oh, I got chills on that one. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are all here. I thought that I was going to be talking to a blank screen, and I did not even care. I'm like, I need to share this. I have to share this. I know I'm not the only one. And I don't know, like once I got my own personal message and I really owned up to it and accepted it and got a lot out of it, I'm like, I got to share this. I am not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. Tell me about mental conflict, please. And again, I don't share my own personal struggles for any kind of pity party or anything like that. I know that things always turn around. I want to share it because I know that others are going through it too. There's a lot of deep emotion that's tied to it. A lot of fear for me, brought a lot of fear and panic. one of the main fears was I'm going to have to give up doing what I love to do. And I know that's not true, but that was a part of my brain telling me that. And it made me want to cry, honestly, because that goes back to my childhood. It's not fair. All the things that I loved to do were always taken away from me. They were. I mean, that's just part of my childhood wounds. Gymnastics, dance. I mean, we moved a lot. I had a lot of passion for what I put my time and energy into, and it constantly was taken away from me. And I was a good sport about it, but I never processed that pain emotionally, ever. I never left. I never left. Although YouTube probably hid me from many people. Hopefully that is shifting. I'm not even going to blame YouTube. I'm sure it had to happen for me to shift my focus and energy onto myself and what lessons I was being shown, which were deep and heavy. They still are. They're deep and they're heavy. Tell me about mental conflict, please. This is also reiterating what I just shared. So it's important for us to know ourselves, know thyself, all of the parts. Because our mind, especially the parts that have been deeply conditioned and programmed, we have the tower at the bottom. Our mind gets in the way of our actual dreams and wishes and desires. And that's exactly what happened to me, what my realization today of not only because of my past pain, because of my inner child pain that was never fully processed. It was something I had to be a grown up about, even though I was a child. I had to be mature about, even though I was a child. These things stay. Everything that I loved, desired, that spoke to me, that I was very deeply connected to as a child, got taken away. I mean, that's what my mind processed. It's still there. So when things that I love and put my time and energy and effort and desire to grow and build start to get taken away, what happens? The same old program turns back on, and it's like, I guess I'm not meant to have that. Right? Not true. It's a story in the mind from childhood pain and wounds. It's a hard one because we live with these stories, these narratives, most likely our whole life, and not even fully conscious of it until you get something that happens that triggers. And if you talk while you're venting or crying or processing, that inner child voice comes out. I heard myself say, this is not fair. This always happens to me. I don't deserve it. Exactly, Paula. Yeah, I don't deserve this. So that's when we actually meet that wounded child inside with love. Just as you would meet a wounded child in real life, you don't tell it to, toughen up, knock it off, all that. No, you give it love, compassion, everything is going to be okay. And this story is not true. The monkey mind, don't listen to it. Will 5% of it, the heart feeling, love, compassion is what matters. Trying to balance it all. Yeah, yep. And it's interesting because for those of you who know who Jeff Brown is, he talks about the monkey heart. That's actually not the monkey mind. And I kind of agree. The heart and the mind, we do want to have balance there. The mind really is more like a computer. But the heart energy, that's what speaks to us emotionally, and what was speaking to me about all the things that I love, cherish, desire, enjoy, fulfillment. So yeah, exactly. Don't let it get in the way, but more so, it's important that we recognize when it happens, because it does happen. And when it happens, we can own it. I own it. This is an archetype in me. This is a part in me that I need to give more love, not less. And it is not true. It seems true, and I understand this has happened to you before, but let's try to have a different attitude, a different outlook on this. We've mastered survival mode. Now it's time to live. Oh, right. I know. Well, thank you for that, because that's exactly the story that was going on in my mind when I left the grocery store today. Almost in tears. I was like, I'm so tired of being in survival mode in the material world. Not that I need to have everything, but like I'm so tired of rationing my food. I'm so tired of worrying every week of what's coming in and what's going out and all that, and it just can be a lot, right? So when we have the Empress, and that's also speaking of giving that inner child, that mothering, we need to start parenting ourselves, giving ourselves the love, nurturance, and needs that maybe we weren't given, or at least not given in certain aspects of our wounding or traumas. You know what I mean? When they come up, when they arise as a wounded child, because we still have that within us. So the overall message is all about the Tower, these sudden, unexpected things that rock our world, shake us loose. The Tower also speaks to me of Uranus energy, and a lot of times Uranus can be grateful for that energy, although we don't expect it, and it really can be shocking. Uranus will move us or shake us open in ways that we could not do ourselves. So if you lose a job, if something like devastating happens, it's the Tower redirecting your attention, redirecting your life in an area that we could not do. So it is a helpful tool. Not easy, especially if we cling on to what was and what we think that that's the other thing. A lot of times we think we know what we need, but if we're not in communication with our life path, with the universe, with our guides, and we're not taking this life so literal, we can really get ourselves in a pickle there. So I'm going to pull one last card from the Starseed Oracle to wrap this up. See what final message wants to come through. We have Page of Emotions below the Tower. So, the Tower is disrupting us in some way, shape, or form to really open our heart up more to ourself. In Gemini energy, we're experiencing the duality within ourselves, as well as out, as within, so without. And it's important to not bypass the step. It's very easy to, if you know how to manipulate energy, but you're not doing yourself any favor by not going deep within and really asking the important question of, we can ask, why is this happening to me? It's not fair and all of that, but ultimately it's, what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? How is this for my benefit? I truly want to know. And, truly don't bother asking when you're all in this, oh my God, because you're not going to get a clear message or answer. Wait. Get behind the thoughts, get behind the emotion after you allow it to flow through you, and calmly ask. You'll receive the message. And I think that's another thing that many people are really getting used to is getting the communication from their higher self and from their guides and angels, their team. And trusting them. Trusting that. All right. So what's the final message for us all here? Oh, we have 2. Okay. We have Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. I got the chills right there. Because many of us, however we've been rocked, it's rocking us in that area of trust, of feeling safe, of feeling protected. That was like another part of my self-dialogue driving home from the grocery store today was, it's not just myself, but why is it so hard right now to actually even be alive on this planet having our basic needs met? How is this helpful? The next message, and I'll read both of these from the book, is double mission. Lightworker Starseed, serve the world by being you. What is being shaken and rocked out of us in every little hidden crack and crevice? The parts of us that are not us, that have been programmed, fear-based programming, control, conditioning, trauma. It's all in there. It's not us. It's not you. It's not me. It's not our true nature. And we have to keep that as a mantra. Know that as truth. All right. Let's read Star Brothers first. You're more protected than you can imagine. It's safe to open the back of your heart. You're being called to be open to receiving a new level of support now from those in your life and from the benevolent beings you're connected with. Yeah, makes sense. 3 of Cups, partners and alliances. Trust. It's happening. It's happening. Through ancestral patterning, current life traumas, and past life karmic impressions, many of us have become mistrustful and suspicious of loyalty and have blocks when it comes to receiving support. We've learned that we need to go at life alone. It's not safe to let our guard down and our heart open. That the world isn't a friendly place. The Star Brothers want you to have a new experience of life on Earth. They want you to feel deeply secure and safe, even if you're going through a difficult time. They want you to hand over your fears to them, to see them as opportunities to let in more love. They're guiding you to stay open to receiving a greater level of support than you can ever imagine, both in this world and beyond. To call in your team of loyal protectors and supporters, both physically and energetically. They want you to learn to soften through life's ups and downs, and to learn to open your heart, especially when it most wants to harden. Yeah, in my experience, for sure. Today, especially. And I can see that. Getting hit. Feeling safe and secure. Can I trust this path? Can I trust the guidance that I'm receiving? There's been a lot of energy going through the psychic airways as well. So we have to be extremely discerning on what we are picking up and channeling and receiving as that as well. But the biggest message I keep receiving is you got to keep trusting. And as a Scorpio, Scorpio sun, it took me a long time to learn to trust this path and trust in general. Because the Scorpio mind wants to, it's the detective of the zodiac. I want to get to the bottom of all this. I need to understand this in a way that it makes sense to me. I think most of us are like that, but just putting that out there. Let's read double mission, and then we'll wrap this up. Feel free to comment on how you're feeling or your experiences or whatever you need to release and let go. I always say just be kind, be mindful that there are others in the chat, and we're all sharing this energy together. But I think that most of those other commenters are now gone and blocked, thankfully. So double mission. Lightworker star seeds are mission and purpose oriented. Many have the feeling that time's running out and there's something they came here to do, create, or contribute. They're here to grow as souls individually, which is an individual mission, and also to contribute to the planet in some action-oriented way, collective mission. Their collective mission is often answered through a career calling or by devoting their life to something bigger. Until they remember their collective mission, it can feel as if something's missing or that they're forgetting something important. Oh, I totally resonate with that. I'm always feeling that way. It's common for lightworker starseeds to feel that they're different, and they may carry soul memories of being visible or sharing their voice. As such, they may protect themselves by dimming their light in order to fit in, or by spending time in some sort of closet, such as the spiritual closet. If you pull this card, you're being called to remember your collective mission and step into it even more fully. You're being reminded that your role as a light worker is to light up the world with your presence. This doesn't have to be a great big thing or decision you need to make. You also don't need to have a great big plan. If you resonate with being a light worker, all you need to do is work out what lights you up, your passions and joys, and keep doing that. When you trust and follow the simple path of things that light you up, and then lose yourself in the doing, you'll light up the world without even trying. And that's definitely something that we have to keep remembering. And I think this is why we are all being, another reason why we are, when the light starts to elevate on the planet, so does the dark. Most of us are empaths, we're sponges to this energy. I witnessed this with my soon-to-be 3-year-old grandson. He's very magnetic. People and kids are attracted to him left and right, and he is a sponge. He's an empath, and there are times where he'll let them in, but a lot of times he's like, no. Like his indicator, like he knows. He honors his feelings, and I so love that about him. So I've been feeling the same, like nobody gets it. It's emotional and spiritual. Yeah. Boy, has it been an emotional time, and but emotions are good. That is our power, that's our energy. So we want to see what shuts us down, right? What closes our heart, and notice it, witness it. And next time we have something that we're closing down to protect ourselves, don't. Tell yourself, I see you. I see you're trying to close me down. I'm not going to. I'm not closing down this time. I'm going to let the emotion and let the energy ride through my body, and I'm going to stay open for it all. And that's not easy to do, but I think that's what we're being asked to do. So that's what I have for us all. Thank you guys so much for joining me, being part of this, and being just a great, big, beautiful part of this collective energy that I'm reading for, and all of your support and your love. I feel it all. I love you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. And let's put in some good intentions for this new moon in Gemini tomorrow. You know, the more that we can have that ripple effect of positivity and love without bypassing our own shadow and other things that get messy. Um, it's so helpful and it's so needed. So thank you all so much. Bless your heart as well. Take care. Bye.